Evening, everyone. This is Jeffy Skiffenberg tuning in to give you an update on Thank You for Today. We've improved the lighting slightly here, and we've sacrificed the audio quality for the audio volume, a tactic ever so often used by the music industry. The aliens have taught them well. So listen up, my subservient servants, human subjects, subject to the aliens. I've been intercepting a large number of uh, telecommunications from the aliens to their human plant subjects here on Earth. So I've reverse engineered this Bluetooth speaker into a Bluetooth microphone. Just kidding. This this light halo crested on my crown is actually the Bluetooth speaker, and it's not a speaker, it's transmitting my thoughts directly to you. I'm not even speaking right now, I'm just thinking. You think I'm talking, but I'm just mouthing these words and you're just hearing them. Actually, is there an alien inside me right now? What the what the frick? This is not right. Just kidding, I actually did get a Bluetooth speaker and reverse engineer it into a microphone. And it's smaller, but it's still blue. Also, just kidding, I'm a magician. It's not. I've gone so far into the future. You've heard of the folding phones. Soon they'll be bending into scrolls that you can put into your pocket, and you'll be able to look through it for augmented reality and all such other distractionary measures to keep you uh, unawoken to the plants. This is the Bluetooth speaker now. In reality, this is just an empty cigarette from the famous Ashley Von Darkness. It's worth about $3,000. Magic. Okay, that's well enough of the Jeffy Skiffenberg. Welcome to Thank You Very Much for Today. Thank you very much for today. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nope. Still working on it. Just keep looking up. Small improvements here and there. I think you will appreciate the sound, I hope at least, and much larger improvements in the near future. I like to think that perhaps this could be a place for some of my old characters from Instagram to come back. Place to reanimate them and expand the possibilities of this platform I've created here. Many of you may not know that I had an Instagram account. Well, I still have it. I just don't upload the comedy on it anymore. I had 83 different characters, all different accents and outfits and personalities and things, and yet all with an interwoven background story and interactions with each other that would influence following videos. And it was a passion project of mine, but I wasn't ready for everything that was going to happen as a result, and kind of let it fall apart or fizzle out in some way or another. But I know there's some people out there still waiting for Strawberry Tickle Toes to come back. They probably say, "Why'd you bring back Jeffy Skiffenberg?" Because he's in touch with the aliens, bro. But the point is, don't don't rush too quickly to judgments about what you think the universe may be telling you. Today turned out to be an extraordinary day. This is one of those days where at the beginning everything is falling apart, and at the end of the evening everything falls together like some sort of ballet of the mind. Woke up to some bad news, and the old me would have painted the town red or black or red, black, and white because that's the Illuminati trilogy colors. That's what my bro say. But instead of doing that, I approached it rationally and calmly, and gave this individual who gave me some bad news a call, and turned it back into good news. And then a multitude of things fell into place afterwards. Blessings abound today. Wonderful thing. So I could have blown all that up if I decided to react poorly this morning. I literally thought to myself, I was uh I was anticipating doing an opening. That's right, open that mofo right up like a can of tuna. I was planning on doing an open mic tonight, and after I got this bad news this morning, I was like, all right, you know, I guess I'm gonna not gonna do stand up comedy. I'm not gonna do the open mic. I'm just done performing. I'm just gonna buckle down and be a real isolated hermit, do the vlog and do the book and say F the world, and I'm gonna just live a life of solitude because everyone's whack now. But that's a silly thought. Most certainly not everyone is whack, but there's a few whack individuals out there. We cannot front. We can't pretend that, you know, truly no one is whack. And ended up going to the open mic tonight and doing a darn good job. I like to think. Felt good. Shaking the rust off. It's been about 6 months since I performed anything live and just felt as natural as ever. Like Lance Armstrong riding a bike till his nut popped out. That's what happened. Um, it really is about just sticking with it. You don't have to just stick with one thing, like we were saying in previous videos, but it is difficult to stick with as many things as I'm doing right now. I know a couple that I need to sacrifice and let go, but uh, it's really about getting everything that I'm doing to synergize together and have the gears start clicking into place. So I guess I'll give you a part of a rough approximation of the stand up that I did there. It was mostly improv. Uh, Hit it with a little bit of a Garrison Keillor reference. In a world today where it seems like everyone is trying to change themselves radically and quickly and in almost every way possible, as if no part of themselves satisfies themselves, but that's just in comparison to what's going on in the world. And knowing that there's a lot of improvements to be made everywhere, but in a way, those all do begin within in a very strange way. And even if you're not trying to change desperately for with your every last bit of energy and effort and fiber of your being, clawing for something greater within yourself, then still the world is changing so fast that you don't even really have a choice. There's unless you want to drop out off the grid and be a homesteader, that's all well and good. And you can say that you're going to completely drop out, but I see like a million homesteaders posting all their stuff on YouTube and, from the middle of nowhere with seemingly modern luxuries and amenities and all these things. So something's missing there for sure. But whether you're changing or whether you're being changed by the world, everything changing. And it's happening super duper fast. I think that's why we are internally compelled to change as quickly as we see everything else changing. It's just sort of like a mirror image. Um, and we can't help but to imitate this reflection that we're seeing. and it's rare to have genuine moments of calm and peace and silence and stillness and just a slow moment, call it, when the world just feels like it slows down for you because everything is moving so quickly. And it seems that uh, a lot of slower forms of expression have died off in favor of quicker forms of expression. Thankfully, the world isn't obsessed with 7-second videos on Vine anymore. But I think there's still a great deal of the population that spends 40 minutes or more a day watching 1 minute or less videos in sequence. And what do you really get out of that? This is part of the problem of the doing too much thing and not just doing one thing, because the chances that you're watching 40 less than 1 minute videos that are all interconnected and feeding into each other and teaching you some grand lesson, pretty slim. More likely than not, none of them are related to each other, and they're all fulfilling this short circuit system within you that has been deeply ingrained to the point, you're not just in the groove, you're in a rut with it a little bit, seeking the funny things, seeking the things that make you feel good, seeking the things that don't tell you anything other than what you want to hear or what you want to feel. And that's why you need to change to begin with. But there's so many routes and paths to that change and to that better self. It can be overwhelming when you start looking through the 900 niches available to self-improvement. So, anyway, one of the reasons that I always liked the show Scrubs was because they seem to always convey a pretty pure moral message at the end of the episode. It was always really obvious, I feel like, to more people than when South Park's trying to convey a moral message and does it in a little more backhanded and perverse and dark way sometimes. But Scrubs was very wholesome in making you laugh the whole show. But then at that final moment, having one of those like bro hugs from somebody who had a near death experiment experience and a heart surgeon that saved his life. And it's just that one of those real life moments that touches your soul a little bit. They had those genuine tear jerking moments to convey messages of human connection and hopefully what we learn from social situations, good or bad, to avoid problems or improve the interactions in the future. And anyway, I think one of the best storytellers of all time, and it's one of those things, I feel like in the world of celebrity today, is there anybody that you can think of that's, oh yeah, he's a great storyteller? Well, it's probably somebody who's something else, like he's a stand-up comedian or he's a rapper or something like that. But once upon a time, there was people on the radio that would, basically fully act out movies and do theater and entertain people in a long format, have 2-hour shows on the radio instead of movies and things like that. And everybody would gather around the radio in the living room on a rainy day and listen to somebody tell a story. It's one of the War of the Worlds is a perfect example, but that was maybe not the best result of telling a story. But Garrison Keillor had a radio show, and it was just one of the most beautiful things in the world by itself, but it also coincided. It's extra nostalgic and impactful for me because of the way that I experienced Garrison Keillor. I had quite a bit of conflict and confrontation growing up, always some form of turbulence, one way or another. There's a lot of loud activity that did not need to be had. And it really, made me appreciate those quiet moments so much more growing up with a prodigious amount of just yelling and screaming. That's why I like Bob Ross so much. He is a gentle soul. R.I.P. R.I.P. Fro Man. So a lot of times we get the wrong idea of what it means to be an adult, and we think it means like the total death of our inner child, or these beautiful forms of creative expression that we used to just do without even thinking about, like scribbling or singing just spontaneously, humming or making a song or doing a weird dance or something. Just all these ways that we've lost sight that bring peace and joy and hope to our world, and a really beautiful way to express yourself and bring you into that present moment, like action sports, music, drawing, dancing, all these things do the same thing, bring you into the present moment and allow you to just focus on the now, the infinite love of the universe, every second of your life. Is there. All you gotta do is look for it. And I say that to say, there are people out there who are doing childlike things for a living and making a wonderful living for themselves. This is perhaps not the best example, but for instance, LeBron James playing basketball for a living. The sentence describes itself: playing for a living. So if you are lucky enough to retain some portion of your childlike enthusiasm and lust for life and transfer that into even a semi-sustainable living for yourself, I think that's what everyone really seeks to do, whether or not they know it. And my dad was one of those people, is one of those people, lucky enough to make a living from what he's enjoyed doing since he was a little kid, and brings him back to that state of just relentless bliss. Nonetheless, our relationship was fraught with its hardships. We had a lot of tension and we butted heads more often than we got along, uh, especially in like the middle stages of our relationship. So on long car rides home, it was either unbearably, tense and awkward and filled with anger. And sometimes I would actually just be like so over exuberant and have so many things to say and be filled with so much hope that it would rather annoy my dad as well. And he would, tell me to be quiet. So that's no fun. And we usually never really saw eye to eye on the majority of music, even though the radio was on like 95% of the time. That didn't stop him from raising the volume of his voice and all that nonsense. So he never really liked most of the music I liked. I never really liked most of the music he liked. But when Garrison Keillor came on the radio, ooh, that was a game changer. We both just got in the zone and got sucked into the story. And just even the opening, even his intro to his radio show was a lovely thought in itself. Just kind of like an alternate reality where everything's good and everything works out as it should. Like that the little town within the Mr. Rogers neighborhood bars. No hiding the cough with my Bluetooth mics all over my body and the direct mind teleportation. We'll work it out soon. All better from here. Once I figure out how to edit and stuff, I won't have these weird awkward pauses and I feel more confident to just go on and ramble and stuff. And maybe even learn how to like go back 5 minutes to figure out that I forgot to say something. So I don't have to wait till 30 videos from now to do a part two to get to all the things that I missed. But there's something about a story and the way that it makes you feel and the way that it makes you think. And all too often we forget how deeply impactful these works of art are in whatever forms they may be. And these little things that we think we're stronger than and we conquer and don't affect us because we know better, they do deeply subconsciously affect us. It's very important to be conscious of the things that you consume, whether it is for your entertainment, for your education, or anything. And it's not one of those things just like, check the source or whatever, but there's a reason a scary movie makes the nighttime when all the lights go out and you're alone by yourself a little bit scarier because it has sowed the seeds of fear within you. But Garrison Keillor ain't out there selling fear like most of America. He's out there selling love and harmony, symbiosis, synergy. People working together, coming together, setting differences aside for the common good in a world that rarely exists. Why it seems like an alternate reality, which he's describing, even though I think sometimes they were based on a true story. But he had this deep, resonant, very white voice, but of a tall, slim gentleman, kind of the opposite of Barry White. And every story invoked the goodness within you, and not just within you, but as a result, seeing the goodness within everyone else, or at least hoping for it. Ain't nobody telling stories like Garrison Keillor anymore. I'm not saying I'm going to be the next Garrison Keillor because I cannot predict the future as much as I would like to, but I think that would kind of take the fun out of the experience, and I'm starting to get the hang of this life thing. So it was obviously much hunchier, shorter sentences, quicker thoughts, quicker jokes in the stand-up routine. And I skipped the first couple of things. I did some weird, cool stuff and some cool, weird stuff, and then just some cool, cool stuff and some weird, weird stuff. Mixed it up. It's a blender. Got to, it's a diverse crowd. Got to give everybody a little taste of something different. Not everybody wants to eat the same taco, despite what the hosts think, and that's all right. There is a thing called mileage in your breakdown. So I told these mofos a little story as an homage to Garrison Keillor. Excuse me. Called it my Cloudberry Chronicles. Ian's already heard first half of the story, but ain't nobody else has. So buckle up, partners. Fasten your seatbelts. The road's about to get bumpy. Can you handle? Can you handle the ride? I'm in pursuit of the truth. That's the destiny. That's the destination. The destination is destiny. Was that an impersonation of anybody? No. Cloudberry Chronicles. Cloudberries are a delicious fruit. They're on my bucket list to consume. I'm really into the cuisine. There's a lot of things that I have not tasted that I would very much like to. More tacos and such as well. But ain't no hoes. Actually, I think this is a perfect moment to say something else because I think actually I do have a largely female audience, strangely enough. Shout out, shout out, shout out the girls. I love y'all. Keep strong. Keep doing y'all thing. It's a hard world out there for y'all. But let me say this is like one of those disclaimers where following views do not are not representative of the broadcast system, but rather of, creative director of the program, blah blah blah. So these aren't my thoughts, but these are the thoughts of someone I know, and I won't say who, but many of you will know. Speaking of hoes, we'll get back to the Cloudberry Chronicles. I got time to digress. I don't gotta keep it to 5, 10, or 15 minutes or however long they want me to be up there. According to somebody I know, there's only 4 types of women. People love breaking down things into simple terms because that's easier for them to digest highly complex and generally indefinable and indescribable dynamics of things, innumerable, myriads of them. But people like to do this with people a lot because people are one of the most difficult things to understand in this world. And everybody likes to say, like, oh, there's 2 types of people in this world, people that like bananas and people that don't. It doesn't do you a lot of good thinking in terms like that. And even leaving it a little more open-ended than that in the third category and saying, and there's the third people. We don't talk about them, the ones that are indifferent to bananas. They don't even care about them one way or another. Self-defeating logic is basically bigotry in disguise, saying something like that. Because saying if there's 2 types of people in this world and there's people that like bananas and people that don't, that implies that you're one or the other and you don't, really think that the other people think right. But everyone can eat or not eat bananas in my world. And so there's 4 types of women. Ones that like bananas, one that, no, I'm just playing. Again, these are not my views. It's just an anecdote. You got your hoes, and the hoes just want sexual gratification. However, I already done messed it up. I should refer to the textbook that I have been gifted on this. Backtrack. A slut. And please, I think this is, oh man, PSA number 42 before we even got to the 30-minute mark. Dick Gregory said this the best whenever he was doing some public speaking, and he said, hoes or bitches or something like that. And then a bunch of people would get up and say, I can't believe you said that. And he would say, I wasn't calling you a hoe or a bitch. So, just take for instance, somebody's speaking in front of a crowd of 100 people, and you just say, the person that's speaking in front of the crowd says, all these hoes, and then 5 girls in the back say, I can't believe you said, well, those are hoes. But that's not the point. I only got offended because they felt that, they were being called out. But ain't nobody know you a hoe unless you get mad when somebody say hoes. That's kind of the thing. So it's like, you're mad because it's true. You're mad because you're guilty. It's true. But 4 types of women: sluts, flutters, with their mind in the gutters. They want sexual gratification. However, the con of that, dudes, is that no sexual gratification is ever enough for them. And, probably some part of your bravado was thinking, I can give them what they want. I've got what they want. Those 37 other dudes that they've already been run through by, they didn't have what she wanted. I got the version that she's looking for. I'll slow it all down. No, you won't. You could have the biggest piece this side of the Ron Jeremy River, and it ain't gonna do you no good because guess what? She gonna get used to it after a while. And even if it is the best thing that she's ever had, she's gonna start thinking, well, maybe there's something better out there. Or even if she doesn't rationally contemplate and knows for a fact You got the best thing in the universe. She's still gonna want something different. Something that smells different, something that tastes different, something that look different, and something that feels different. Because that's what a slut do. And then you got your hoes. And your hoes, they, in one way or another, not necessarily sexually, want instant gratification. That's not the terminology. I'm being a little too liberal here. They want they want materialism. They want material possessions as a result of their actions. It's not the mere act itself that they're looking for that does not satisfy them. It is what they get from the act that satisfies them. So, this is where you could throw in your gold digger terminologies and such interchangeable phenomenons. Uh, you know, just be the literal hoes on the street selling selling that thing. And there's a better way. There's a better way. You know it. I know it. Then you got your third kind of woman, third kind of lady. Sorry, women. Sorry, ladies. That's a bitch. And a bitch, she want all your time. Let me backtrack for 1 second and just say with the hoe, you could give her all the material possessions in the world and it's never enough as well. You could give her 5 mansions on 4 different private islands and one in a metropolitan area, but it won't be enough for her because she'll want that skyscraper penthouse in Dubai so she can see the sunset at the ground level and take the elevator up top and see the sunset again. She want it like that. She doesn't think about whether or not she deserve it like that or whether she's done anything to earn it like that. She just want it like that because she a hoe. Then you got that bitch. What that bitch do? What that bitch do that slut and that hoe don't do? That bitch want all your time. 100% of your time. That's going to be the literal death of you. There's many forms of this as well. You know, there's that girl that just got the anxious attachment style. Can't live without you. Got to text you every 30 seconds. Got to call you every 30 seconds. Watch out for them because she might be a slut or a hoe in disguise too. Because she really just projecting what she got going on inside herself. And every time she's without you, she's like, I want to cheat on you. I want to cheat on you. I want to do something bad. She thinking that you thinking the same thing. While really you out there buying her flowers, getting her a special card and all her favorite foods and beverages, planning a beautiful romantic evening for her. Gonna lay out the motherfucking F word, Bob Marley. Gonna lay out the rose petals all the way to the bathroom because she's just gonna be pooping all night, texting the guy that she want to cheat on you with, saying that, oh, I got a stomachache, but she's not pooping, she just texting. That's the world we live in. Anyway, back to the bitch. Bitch want all your time, and 100% of your time still ain't enough for her. Oh man. So you ain't gonna be able to have a life for yourself. You ain't gonna be able to have other relationships, not with friends, not with family. She don't want you to have no relationships with family. She just wants you to be fully dependent on her. Spend 100% of your time on. She don't want you to spend no time even with your kids. Go 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 play Pokemon and play with your yo-yo kids. We don't want to see you. We want to be with each other. The creepy thing is some of them B words say some of the creepiest stuff. Like them sluts and them hoes is at least like real with themselves. They're like, I'm a terrible person. I'm just gonna embrace this along the ride. Bitches don't be really knowing they bitches sometimes. And that's why they be bitching all the time. They wouldn't be bitching all the time if they wasn't bitches. Uh I'll get back to what some of them bitches, some of the B words said to me in a second that I can't let this slip by. There was a lovely middle-aged lady. That's right. I got the Elmer Fudd now. Middle-aged lady doing one of them 60-second videos that we'd be watching for 40 minutes. And it was a radio interview. She said she married a 6'1" tall bottle of Valium. That's a really weird way to say that. She married a guy who tolerated all of her crap and never talked back to her and just let her walk all over him and say whatever she wanted whenever she wanted. She told this story about one day she was freaking out, admittedly, for no reason whatsoever. She had no reason to be upset, but she was just inconsolable, verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. And he's at work, making a living for the family, stressed out, living life in the mud and the dirt, doing it, getting it, shoveling it. She at home doing nothing, overthinking, being emotional, bitch stuff. And she calls him up and just says, I'm having a really hard time. I don't know what to do. And he's just like, say less, babe. Got you. He shows up like the knight in shining armor he is. He sits down on the couch next to her. She cries, wipes all of her smeared makeup all over his brand new Gucci jacket. And he doesn't say a word. He doesn't say, babe, you got no reason to be crying right now. I've had a really hard day and you haven't even asked me how my day's going, or you haven't asked me how I'm doing. And I've been here for 90 minutes sacrificing money that, I used to buy you all the goofy makeup you smearing on my Gucci jacket. And I only wear this Gucci jacket because you want me to wear it. I actually hate this and I think I look really stupid in this, but I wear it for you because I love you. These are the sacrifices we make for each other through love. We don't want to make it that hard on partner. That ain't helping nobody. You being selfish, making them wear that Gucci jacket with your tear makeup on it. And he sit there for 90 minutes and listen to her cry till she good. And she says, thank you so much. And he didn't say a word the whole time. She's like, he just sat there and he's just my rock. Well, that mofo dead now. People down in the comments was like, R.I.P. You lost a good man. Hearing how you talk about him, must mean you love him so much. No, you didn't. You didn't love him enough to be aware of what you were doing to him. You were literally killing him. You fucking killed him. That's awful. You killed the person that you loved because you didn't know how to love them. I may be making a couple assumptions here, but anyway, some B words have told me some of the creepiest things in the world, and I've had multiple of them tell me that they literally wanted to live inside my skin. Like they're like, I just want to crawl inside your skin. What do I attract? Serial killers? What is going on? 2024, 2023. Ain't it? 2025 gonna be it. God bless. We know this. We know this. Pluto in Aquarius or whatever. That's what they say. Something like that. I don't know. Planet X in Nibiru. Something like that. Something like that. That's what they say. Um, and then you got the fourth kind of lady. And that's the one you want. That's the woman you really want. Because the fourth kind of lady, this person that served me this game, is called Lady. She ain't a bitch. She ain't a slut. She ain't a hoe. She ain't looking for your D. She ain't looking for your wallet. She ain't looking for your watch. Watches the time. She's looking for your love. And that's a lady, if you really love her, your love is enough for her. You see this balance here. These three other kinds of ladies, nothing you pour into creates balance. There's always a deficiency in this scale of love. I'm not talking about the attraction gap, just merely, and it's not even like the return on investment from energy. And we're not going to get into the sunken fallacy cost and all these other things we need the whiteboard for. It's just about that what you have to offer is truly enough for somebody. That is somebody that you're compatible with, somebody who loves you for who you are as you are, sees who you can be, ain't mad at you for not being that, and loves you for who you are. Always. We ain't gonna get into like unconditional love all the way up there or, you know, irrational love or anything like that, but just good old wholesome love. You're able to accept some faults but also be able to very kindly infer when an individual maybe possesses or harbors some habits that is not in their best interest, and let them know that they ain't doing themselves the best service by repeating these behaviors and activities. And that's where arguments occur quite frequently because of the miscommunication. When somebody's saying like, "Hey, I see you doing this thing, maybe don't do it," it's really them just saying, "I love you." But you get all insecure and you get tensed up and you're like, "Man, you hating on me, and I can't deal with that because I hate myself." And all what it comes down to is that self-love. That's ultimate armor against arguments. Say gratitude and other negative emotions cannot possibly coexist, but self-love is the ultimate antidote to negative emotions and negative interactions with others. Because if you love yourself, you ain't gonna do no trifling nonsense. Still does come with some hard words, loving yourself and knowing what you deserve and not taking no crap from others. But so anyway, cloudberries, on my bucket list. I want to eat them. I have been informed by my Norwegian associate that they taste like baked apples. And even though they're a berry, the inside they've got like a creamy, custardy consistency. It's an orange berry, not much unlike the color of my jacket, coincidentally. But there are no coincidences like the color of my shoes, which match my jacket kinda a little bit. It's more like my colorblind grandfather, who I never met, putting 40 different colors of orange on, thinking they're all the same, and he looking like a dystopian creamsicle. Anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap this one up much sooner than the 2 hour mark that I've accumulated over the last couple things, because it's been a busy day. I got a busy day, a couple days ahead of me, and I don't want to drop in the kitchen just munching on a kiwi. Shout out Adam. Cloudberries. They only grow in Arctic climates at very high altitudes, tops of mountains, the place where usually nothing else of sustenance grows. So that's actually pretty darn cool in itself. And this thing exclusively grows in a place where almost nothing else grows. Life. Thank you. Thank you for today. This man is in a place. Well, he travels to a place. The television chef on New Scandinavian Cooking that I'm referring to. There's an individual who's acquiring cloudberries in a town which is like the land that time forgot. It looks like Game of Thrones in current day. Doesn't look like a real place. Definitely a place where things are slower, where you got a little bit more time to think what's the right thing to do here. And he gets off a train, which is a good start in itself for a slow paced village. Like I said, it's looking like Game of Thrones, castles and old school villages and horse drawn carriages with giant muskox blankets to stay warm, torches on the back. And he gets off the train, gets in this horse drawn wagon, goes to a couple local markets, picks up his cloudberries, goes to a dairy farm, picks up some fresh cream. You'll see to where this is going in a second. This is all about synergy and getting these things to work together. If I could, if I could have rap and comedy and music, like piano and poetry and cooking, and talking, and telling people what's goody good, and motivational speaking, and uh, maybe some karate lessons thrown in there, some interpretive dancing. Um, can't let Squidward have all the fun with that. Tie it all together and make it into one thing. Make it all work in itself. So when one thing is doing it, all the gears are moving in the same system. I would love that. I'm doing so many things in so many different places, which is kind of the American way. It's just like, they say don't put all your eggs in one basket. Well, if you got 12 eggs in 14 different baskets, then I don't think you're doing too good because only 10 of those eggs at most are whole. And now you got a mess. And that don't sound good. That does not sound productive. It sounds like you're going to have some cleaning up to do. And everybody's just fighting the universe and the Western culture, really, more than anything else. There's a flow, there's a harmony. And you got to learn not to fight it. Uh, This is where these couple of stories tie together. That I'm doing a horrific job at telling. Like always, that's what this was called tangential digression to infinity. And what's the opposite of beyond? I don't know. Obscured. It's cold as heck in this town. If I did not mention, I should mention. So we're in Scandinavia. We're in borderline Arctic Circle, and it's cold like 9 months out of the year there, maybe 10. So there's snow everywhere, and just perfect correlation of how America does things wrong and isn't really thinking things through. Yes, it's nice to have a hot cup of cocoa when it's cold outside and a cold ice cream when it's hot outside, and that's why the humdinger only open up when the ice cream be melting the moment it gets in your hand, which I always thought was stupid in itself. I thought to myself, even honestly, when I was a little kid, why don't we have ice cream when it's cold outside so it stays cold? Because I didn't want to be sitting there with a sticky wrist all day because ice just wiped stuff on my sweatpants and then I'm walking around looking like a ghoul. So I'm just trying to be presentable and work with the universe as well. Yeah. America be using all this high tech machinery and equipment, ruining the planet, costing a whole bunch of people a bunch of money, taking from the power grid, and running all these machines while it's hot AF as well. While the power grid need that for all these gentlewomen and gentlemen with their air conditioners and their fans and their whatnots. So this man on the other side of the world in Scandinavia with his cloudberries and his cream, and it could not be much more low tech when he just gets like a big milk jug, one of those old school metal milk jugs, throws the cloudberries in there, throws his fresh cream in there, a little bit of sugar. That's it. Duct taped the top closed with an 8 ball in there and tied it to the wagon that he was traveling around town on. See, that's the super smart thing. Using so many things in his environment to his advantage. He's gonna be in the cold regardless. And most people are just miserable in the cold. But if you've got something to do in the cold, you've got something to look forward to. And it makes the cold a little more bearable. And most people don't realize what temperatures we can tolerate if we just get a little physical activity going. Usually we're stagnant before we go face the cold, and that's why it feels so freezing. And it's also the transition from a nice, warm, comfortable environment into the freezing cold that feels terrible. Once you're out there for about 20 minutes, and if you actually get your blood flowing, we can get down there pretty low. And just, I don't want to get too far off on things either, even though this is the tangential digression into infinity and obscure. Um, the Had to blow my nose and collect myself. Like I said, I didn't want to get too far off track, even though this is what it is and it do what it do. Uh, there's the saying "summer love," and I was saying before how easy it is to manifest love. Everybody's in love with those summer love relationships, thinking they're the coolest flangs in the world. Ain't a lot of winter love in the Northeast. The girls just kind of shut down around here. And even girls that I've been in relationships with admittedly said at some point in the summertime. Like I'll tell you right now, like I shut down in the wintertime. My sex drive goes down. I get depressed. I get down, and so I'll break up with him before the wintertime, of course, you know. But it's people just fear that discomfort. They fear the challenge that winter and the cold brings. And it's why I thought, since I saw this Cloudberry episode, which I'll get back to in a second, that a like a real wedding, good ass love, long lasting, lifelong love, no matter what happens kind of love, that wedding should be done in the wintertime. I don't know, probably some old individuals out there thinking like, "But you're gonna give grandma a heart attack. It's gonna be too cold out there." Well, you can pick a decent day in the wintertime. It's not impossible with these incredibly warm winters we've been having recently. But it doesn't have to be, like everyone thinks like what it's got to be an outdoor wedding. No, you can have a beautiful wedding in an amphitheater or, inside of a giant greenhouse or something, at least it looks like it's all outside, but it's still got the warmth of inside. But a wintertime wedding, because it's battle tested. It means that you've actually gone through some struggles together. Summertime's nice, everybody's on vacation, everybody's happy, everybody's having a good time. It's nothing but sunshine. Nobody's in a bad mood. Everyone can get along for a couple of months. But when that winter time comes around and it actually changes people, the truth comes out. That gargoyle, you know, that little demon within that they was policing and keeping on patrol for a while, but came out and it got you in the wintertime. That's why if also if you got somebody, a partner that's like rational enough to think outside of the box with you and say, okay, yeah, we'll do a winter wedding because of what it represents and what it symbolizes, and that's pretty cool. You got something right there. But so I'd imagine in these places where winter happens 10 months out of the year, not everybody in the village is getting married in those 2 summer months, you know. There's a lot of winter weddings, and those are probably some longer lasting weddings, longer lasting relationships as a result of those weddings. So anyway, this dude's traveling around with a horse-drawn wagon with his muskox blanket and the torches in the back, and he's got his bucket filled up with the cream and the cloudberries, and he ties it to the wagon with the 8 ball inside. And he goes off on his merry business. He's already traveling anyway. It's already cold anyway, and he's making ice cream with it now. So he's killing two birds with one stone. I think that's such a beautiful thing. The people all over the town taking the wagons, not making no ice cream, not taking advantage, even though it's the place that I'm complimenting for figuring things out. They still make ice cream all winter long as well. He went to a like all the ice cream shops are open in the wintertime instead of summertime there. And they indulge in other treats in the summertime because it probably ain't that warm where they need a frozen treat. Anyway, he makes this cloudberry ice cream just by taking a ride in the wagon, and that was a major revelation for me. I was like, I see how things can work together to make life easier. You don't have to work very hard when you just utilize the elements present and take advantage of your environment. And that to me feels like the universe flowing through you in one way or another, at least in the forms that you can recognize and alter to the best of your ability. And on that note, I didn't realize the synergy that I was a part of when I started getting a little bit crazy with my fish tank thing. Got a whole fish tank thing going. Anyone watching this video, you want a free fish tank? Let me know down below in the comments. I got you. In like a 250-mile radius, free delivery to your door. Hundo P. But you also got to provide proof that you're going to be able to take care of them. You're going to be responsible too. Don't want no scammers taking my tanks, letting them go to crap. But there's a lot of work involved with taking care of the fish tanks, and you don't really see it all beforehand. But it became a great benefit to me. It deserves its whole own episode. But I was a rather portly young man. Some even said Shamu size, and I don't think they was wrong as far as human beings are concerned. I was up there at my age. It was a spectacle, and if I didn't awaken to it, I would be on television right now if I didn't awaken to it, because I'd be on my 600 pound life. And ain't that funny? That's the world we live in. People that do their best to take care of themselves, pour their heart and soul out to the world, still ain't getting much more than like 20, 50 views. And as somebody who ain't never taken care of themselves a day in their life, get the gift and the blessing of a television show and an audience to say whatever they want to. And they don't say nothing but, "Oh, I want some more chicken wings. Can you DoorDash me some 3 dozen honey garlic parmesan Cajun barbecue? That's too many flavors. No, I can't," is what you need to say. But you don't. That's the enabling thing. It's like enabling is a terrible thing. That's where the chastisement of love comes in. You got to do your part, say the hard thing, and do your part to not do your part in someone's undoing as well. Don't be the person that helps somebody get to 600 pounds. Don't be that person, because you're just as much to blame as the person that is 600 pounds. Because at that point, they're not even getting out of bed anymore. You're getting them the food and you're bringing it to them. You're doing it to them. So don't do that. But I was a portly young man, and I spent the majority of my life since figuring out how I could take care of myself doing just that. I wanted abs my whole life. Even before my weight loss journey, I wanted them abs because it was a symbol of, uh, it was a symbol that you was gonna get more ladies because you were going to present yourself as a more desirable object person. You was more attractive. Little did I know I passed up on a bunch of chubby chasers, and I could have had a ton of fun. But I was hating on myself and baller blocking my dang self. Anyway, I went from 240 pounds to 139 pounds, and I still wasn't happy with my body because I didn't have the abs that I wanted. Even though my core was so strong, I frequently asked people to just punch me in the stomach because I knew they were gonna hurt their hand punching me. I felt like you probably could have hit me with a baseball bat, and it would have broke. I would not have broken anything unless you got me on one of the bottom two ribs or something, them little baby ribs, baby back ribs. But I did everything to try to get abs besides just losing weight. I was doing at some points literally like 1,000 or more sit-ups a day, just grinding, trying to get that six pack. No matter what I did, no matter what weight I got to, didn't seem like, body fat percentage mattered, or, literally any amount of sit-ups mattered. I never got the abs. I got close, but they weren't there. They weren't pronounced. They weren't them sculpted looking things that everyone thinks, you know, are the desirable thing. Even though that's a matter for a whole nother discussion. And I started taking care of all these dang fish. I wasn't thinking anything about it. I was not trying to work out. I was not trying to exercise. I was trying to spin 100 plates, and none of those plates that I was spinning at the time had a dish that I really wanted to eat. Luckily, this is the thing. If I start dropping these plates now, it's all delicious food. I'm gonna eat it off the floor because I keep a clean environment, and ain't no food going to waste around me. That's like my religion. It's a touchy word there, but that's how much it means to me, not waste stuff. That's why garbogia or garboggio, garbaggio, garbogia. Tell me down in the comments which one you will like for garbage. This is why, this is the thing. But so I'm spinning a bunch of plates and not even, don't have time to work out. I don't have time to do anything but the things that I feel like I'm compelled to do on a daily basis. And suddenly out of nowhere I get abs and I didn't even really like notice at first. It was my girlfriend at the time, my ex, who was like, "Wow, you're starting." I mean, she always liked what was going on there, but she was just like, "You look extra good." And finally, I put two and two together because I wasn't looking up workout videos on YouTube and was none the wiser that apparently offset carries is one of the best core exercises that you can do. So I was carrying around 5 gallon buckets of water, which weigh somewhere around 44, 46 pounds, depending on how much the bucket weighs. So I'm doing like 50-pound offset, basically kettlebell carries, but even better than the kettlebell carries because the kettlebell is a static object. It has no inertia, no momentum by itself, that which other than you provide for it. Water's sloshing all over the place, and you got extra counterbalance. So offset carry is all about counterbalance to the core to begin with. So you're trying to, the water's pulling you one way and you're pulling your body another way, and that's the core resistance there. But if the water's going like this, then you're going like this, and that's a way better exercise than just going like this the whole time. So I had no idea I was using a giant shake weight. I was using a shake bucket to get myself in shape. And this is the principle of synergy and just working within accord, harmony with the universe. The universe blessed me with MF and abs, which I've been wanting since I was like 12 years old. 20 years later, when I stopped trying. How about that? Isn't that crazy? I stopped trying to get abs and I get them. I don't think that should imply or teach you that you should seek to avoid the things that you actually want in life and then try to obtain the things that you don't want in life. Because I don't think that's going to work out for you. But if somebody out there want to give that a try for like a year or two, just uh, be a champ, be a real bro for the dudes, and do the damn thing and let us know how it went. Tell us though below in the comments. How was 2 years from now? Let us know down below in the comments. How did that go for you? The reverse psychology of the law of attraction. Seems like a brilliant theory. Face value. So I stopped trying for the abs and I got the abs. And I think it actually deeply upset my ex how well I was functioning in this environment of constantly doing stuff and just making it work. And then even having the things that was working make other things work that I couldn't even see coming or anticipate. And I feel like I'm really close to that now because I almost woke up and did some sit-ups this morning, metaphorically speaking. But instead, I just kept working with the flow, and the universe gave me another set of abs. So I'm pretty close to a 12 pack now. And I ain't talking about a Kid Rock beard belly. Talk about the opposite of that. It's it's one of my favorite things in nature. I feel like synergy is a very business and economic centric word. So I just want to throw in symbiosis, and that is, I just think it does not get too much more soulful to see symbiosis in nature. And that's not, again, so back to the dolphins and stuff like that. That's not just interspecies, harmony and stuff like that, looking out for each other, taking care of each other. It's plants looking out for other plants. It's plants, you know, siphoning off their nutrients to make sure that plants that aren't getting enough light because they taking their light and casting shade over them get enough nutrients to grow up and be the tree that does the same thing for the next tree down the line. It's not just that weird little thing going in and out of the sea cucumber that that only exists there, or the rare kind of bee that only exists in a fig tree, the queen bee. lives her entire life inside of a fig, and uh, no, the queen don't. Maybe she do, but either way, the bees that end up inside of the figs, when they crawl out of the figs, they tear themselves in half, so they die. They literally live their entire life inside of the fig. I have no idea how it works, but this is symbiosis in some way. There's shrimps that live inside of calcified like skeleton sponges at the bottom of the ocean, and they get too big to go out of there. All sorts of weird symbiotic relationships in nature, but that's they some of those things I guess are so beautiful because they've evolved over years that they couldn't function without that symbiosis. So the bee would exist nowhere else in nature. The shrimp would exist nowhere else in nature, and that little thing that goes inside the cucumber wouldn't exist nowhere else in nature. But that's why I guess since I was young, I also feel like I haven't found my symbiosis. I feel like there is nowhere that I should naturally exist in nature. I know that's a terrible thing to think, but like I feel like even before this was a common thought for our generation, or before it was delivered to me through any form of entertainment, just my first conscious thoughts, I thought to myself, man, I'm in the wrong time. I'm in the wrong place. This ain't it. This ain't the pace or the place for me. And I think back, and I really would, think back. Yeah, past life regressions. Just kidding. It's impossible to say. Who knows if I would have even made it this long 400 years ago? I might have died of the plague or tuberculosis or bloodletting because I had the sniffles. It's just become incomprehensibly difficult to deliver my message to people. And maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe the universe is like, you ain't ready yet. You ain't got your message all set yet. I've got so many things going that it's difficult to say that I've done a very good job again here conveying a particular message. There are so many, really. And I hope you see that all of these things, not just within this episode, but every episode so far is interconnected in some way, as we all are. All things that we can see are, and all things that we can't see that are as well. Indivisible, despite our best efforts. So we fight for things that the universe wants to give us, but that's just going to create friction, struggle, and elongate the delivery of those things. We can fight for things that the universe doesn't want to give us, and we're never going to get them. And we might get false representations of them that come with far greater sacrifices than we could ever imagine. So you do really got to be careful what you wish for. But I promise you, if you keep wishing long enough and you keep on the right path, you will get all those things you've been asking for. As long as they're the right things for you too. Be asking for don't be asking for all the crack in the world. And I don't, not just drugs, tail, concrete contracts for the city, whatever. You don't want it all. You want a little piece, just a little piece. And I think with that said, give myself a little piece tonight and this early. Say I love you all so very much. Thank you so much for listening and putting up with my light show today. Small improvements. See, I switched out the pillow here. I wasn't gonna say nothing. I don't think I have a large enough audience for people to be like, "Ooh, he switched out the pillow. What is he doing? Is he gonna do something next? Is that foreshadowing? Is this the trend? Is he gonna switch out the pillow every episode? Change something every episode? Maybe. You'll have to tune in to find out. Oh, what a cliffhanger! That boy, got you thinking. That pillow. But I'm thinking about my pillow and getting some sleep. Hope I didn't miss the mark, and I just, again, can't thank you enough for listening. Whoever you may be and whenever it is, I ain't gonna get caught up and get impatient. I've published one episode. I'm 4 or 5 episodes filmed in here deep. I I hope to look back at this 10 years from now and see all the people down below in the comments that it did help or at least entertain for a little bit in my own special way. But help is the goal more than entertain. I'm not trying to just make you laugh or feel good. The laughter and the feeling good are to break down the barriers that we place up to block from receiving good things, love and lessons and blessings. I guess one concluding statement to have a more elegant thought be the ending thing than I'm looking for a piece of my pillow. Like my mom was looking for a piece of her pillow when she was on them depression medications trying to eat her pillow, having dreams about burying herself alive. I heard a long time ago there was this beautiful series of videos on YouTube where they were doing acoustic covers of classic songs by artists who were relatively unknown all across the globe. I wouldn't say relatively unknown, just underappreciated, not not world renowned, not super recognized, but very, talented and respected in their own right. And he was a blues musician wearing some Nip Chafin overalls. No Nip Nathan running around there and people looking at him like he a fool, but he dang genius. And they're interviewing him right before he does the song, and he's just such an exuberant, radiant, happy soul. And he's beaming positivity and he can't stop smiling and chuckling. Everything they ask him is funny and everything he looks at and everything that he says is funny. And that's like the enlightened Buddha. It's a good place to be. And not quite sure what they asked him or if it was just an unprovoked sentiment. But he said one thing I've learned in life is to never fight a smile, never fight a laugh. And I thought, yes, that is it, my friend. Thank you. I had spent a considerable amount of time before hearing that, and I still had spent a lot of time after that doing a lesser and lesser version until I didn't do it anymore. But it was almost like I had to, show people I'm either hurting or I'm depressed, or that I was just immune to the joy of the situation because I'm in a different place or whatever. But yeah, I can't tell you how many times I felt the muscles in my face contracting, trying to get me to smile, and I did the mind over matter thing. It's almost as painful as and as silly as trying to stop a sneeze from happening and doing the mind over matter thing to stop a sneeze. Just like how pleasurable the sensation of getting a difficult sneeze out is, I think we should associate that with the pleasure of a difficult smile. Even if it isn't easy and we don't have the muscles contracting, forcing us to smile. I think maybe we should start to invent some of our own strategies to figure out how to smile more often and laugh more often, since all humor has been banned from television and movies. And Dave Chappelle ain't funny no more because he just want his money. But so my continuation of his theory, passing the torch to me as he did, gifting me that knowledge. I just told my mom recently, I there are 5 things that I never want to fight, and I named like 10 instead because I'm not good at counting. Uh, like I said, spinning all the plates. I'm working on language. Arithmetic is out the window right now. 9 times 9, 81. 170 divided by 10, 17. I still got it. Just kidding. But I told her that I don't ever, again, for the rest of my life, to the best of my ability, no matter what happens, I don't ever want to fight a smile. I don't ever want to fight a laugh. I don't ever want to fight love, kindness, generosity. I don't ever want to fight a hug. I think that was about it. So I guess it's just like 6 or 7 things. But yeah, and I don't want to fight anybody else either. I don't. I did. That was a resolute raising the proverbial white flag to say that I'm done arguing. Even if y'all want to argue, it's gonna be one sided. I'm just gonna love you, and I'm just gonna smile while you're doing your thing because I know it's you, and I love you because you're beautiful, even with all your flaws, even with all your shortcomings and your inabilities to see your flaws and shortcomings and do a little something about it, or your inability to do something about it, even if you do see it. It's okay because you still you and I love you. You could be the best version of you and you're still you. You could be the worst version of you and I still love you. It's really hard for me to give up on somebody. I don't think I've done it to a single person yet. There's some people that I haven't spoken to in a real long time, but I hold them just nearly and dearly and as nearly and dearly in my hearts. In my hearts. That's right. I got so many hearts in me. A couple hearts on my head even. I hold them so nearly and dearly in my heart still. As nearly as I ever did. If not more so, even if we haven't spoken. Even if the last thing that I said to you was, you're my official spokesperson of telling the world that I don't fuck with nobody anymore. And that also includes you. I don't fuck with you no more. That was just me saying, I really need to change my life, and you're not helping me do it. So give me some space while I figure this thing out. And I'll come back to you when I got some blessings and some lessons for you. Offers too good to refuse, eh? Huh? Fangiuli. Gabagool. Tagliatelle. All right. So don't fight a smile. Don't fight laughs. Don't fight a hug. Don't fight generosity. Don't fight love. Bars. This whole thing's just been one big long rap verse in disguise. Y'all don't even know. That's what Two Hollis does on stage. I like to throw in a lot of Ian jokes, Two Hollis jokes. And I like to say, just keep looking up. I got callbacks for days. Because I got a crazy memory. And I think I got at least about 700 hours of talking points in me without repeating myself in current state, current form. So we got a ways to go. And that's before I incorporate all the other elements that I want to get into. Not only do I want to do all this stuff that I said before, but I think it would just be really cool to do things that I'm not able to do that I've seen so many other people do. And I think it's actually necessary to present a sense of realism to the world because everyone out there has got some pretty crazy ideas of things that other people can do and that they themselves can do. Maybe it's my own desire to personally humble myself too, because I still be feeling on the inside like I'm I'm Eddie Hall. So I feel like I look on the inside, but the sloppy version, day 14 recovery hasn't worked out in 15 days kind of thing. Just been stocking up on the Krispy Kremes. Shout out Froggy Fresh, Tyler Cassidy. What's good? Can we work together, Tyler? You a talented brofo. I can bring my own piano, BYOP. What's good? Hit me up in the comments down below. So weird that YouTube doesn't have like a messaging component. It did once upon a time. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that you used to be able to message people directly on YouTube? That was even way before Instagram or Twitter or all that other stuff. YouTube was the ish back in the day. And that is me coming too late to the game, coming to the yo-yo when Duncan done divested and put all their money into. I was just gonna make a bad plastic joke, but they put all their money into Garbogia. We'll just say this. We'll say this. I came into Instagram like right at the fading edge of the peak, right before it fell off, and they sold it to Facebook to create more advertising revenue. There was no ads on Instagram at one point in time. Imagine that. Not one sponsored ad, no solicitations, none of that stuff. It's all getting out of control. Maybe that's what we'll talk about next time. The economic aspects of the the reason why things are so crazy. You know, the profit-driven motivations of our collective descent into madness and digital dystopia. See, now we ended on a bad note. That's sad. First we had a cliffhanger, then we had something positive, then now we got something sad. So I'm just gonna start stripping, bring up the mood, and get banned from YouTube so I have an excuse to stop doing this. Just kidding. You can check my OnlyFans, link in the description. Trying to get like Black China and Tyga. Just kidding. I only say Tyga because, well, first of all, you should realize number one and number two mofos that made the most money of all time from OnlyFans in a month both made love to a Kardashian. And one of my exes almost got on a tour bus with Tyga when she was an underage girl. I'm just gonna throw that out there. This ain't gonna be clickbait. I ain't gonna say Tyga, predates on underage girls. He almost had a whole group of underage girls if it wasn't for one good ass dad who knew what was up and said, "Nah, girls, nah, ladies, you gonna be ladies tonight. You can be one of the other three kind of things." Ooh, my callbacks is just on a whole nother level. I really do like hope some of y'all pick up the shtick that I'm laying down. Where my stick prop at? Carrot Top, Carrot Dragon. Who's got the painting? Did y'all do the painting? Tell me down below in the comments. I will buy that from you. I will buy your carrot painting for $250 if it's good. I'm not just gonna say I'm gonna buy any carrot dragon because I will be broke tomorrow. Somebody will find this and be like, "Hey, you want $250? Scribble a carrot dragon." Mm-mm. No, I will buy one dragon painting for $250 if it's a good one. Not everybody's, just one. So expect a no if you ask me, unless you're good. Know thyself. Know what you have to offer, and offer it. There is no other way. Find what you have to offer. Improve it. Work on it every day, and offer it to the world. This is what we all need to do. I do wish I were a craftsman or an architect or an engineer and I could present you something a little more useful. A physical tool. Something that Alton Brown would say, this is a great multi-tool. I recommend everybody have this in their kitchen because it does about 14 different things. And it only takes about this much space up in your drawer. That would be cool. But these words are what I got in so many different forms. Comedy, music, rap, poetry. This vlog here. So just, consider this like my fourth attempt at flight. Don't expect the Orville brothers to have had the plane figured out just yet. I'm still just Orville Redenbacher. We just getting started getting popped off. Taking flight is for later episodes. Thank you very much. May all you take greater flight with what you've encountered tonight. Bars. Love you all so much. Thank you very much for today. Mm, thank you so much for today. Mm, thank you for today.